Welcome back to the GG.Bet Iced Challenge here in London, England. Of course, we are getting ready for map number 3, an unexpected map 3 in some ways. Na'Vi, the heavy favorites in this entire event, dropped in rather dramatic style, Nuke against Heroic.
Absolutely. They were blown out of the water there. Moving on to Inferno, we've got some question marks here. At one point, Na'Vi, this was their absolute best map. It certainly has dropped off. Throughout the years, their playstyle has changed in it. It's evolved, I would say. They used to be one of the slowest teams in the world on this map. Used to play right down to the 10-second mark before the executions. Simple came in a bit looser, got very good at it, but then once they became so good, people started to counteract their play, and weaknesses were starting to shine.
Yeah, and the blueprint of Inferno is essentially still the same, right? Banana plays almost like a mid in most other maps. It's a crucial map control position for both sides. A lot of utility is required on the CT side, but it has changed a lot in that teams are putting more pressure onto the apartments, trying to get boiler control, push the CTs around a little bit more early on, and force the hand and not let them establish one position and then rotate over that second player from A, perhaps, or excuse me, from B to A. So things have changed in small facets, and you're right, Na'Vi's probably the most notable. I'd say MIBR as well, slightly.
Yes, I would say ever since Astralis really came together and showed us the routine on the CT side for taking Banana with the double incendiary, the HEs, the control that can be gathered, that's how the game has evolved. They set the standard, everyone's doing it now, and that's where it became a very interesting map that dramatically changed. This is actually a very important knife round. Remember, Na'Vi have yet to pick up a single pistol so far. It's another CT-sided map, not as dramatic as Nuke, I would say, but it looks like Electronic will be going down here. Indeed, Heroic will win the knife. They'll presumably start on the CT side. We've got to speak to Freiberg just in the interim there. I was asking, is the king back, Freiberg? We see him at Banana, and you know what he said? He goes, the king is dead. I'll play A now. It's over.
Wow.
It's actually happened. So we'll be seeing on the A-bomb side. So
that's an interesting time. I'm assuming it's because they want to run Mertz's op there more aggressively.
I assume so, yes.
That's an interesting change. I mean, maybe it'll be nice for him. Maybe he'll step things up and be invigorated in a new position, slightly fresher scenery. The Prince of Pit. Isn't that Twist?
That was Magisk or Twist.
That's right.
Whoever I kind of feel like on the day.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I think I've done that a few times. I thought it would land a bit more, become my thing, but didn't really stick that one.
Nah, it's all right. We can make it work. We can still get that in there.
We'll crowbar it in this game, see what we can do. Anyway, here we go then. Ladies and gentlemen, the final map between Na'Vi and Heroic. The plucky underdogs, we weren't sure whether they'd be able to take a map against Na'Vi, but they did so in convincing fashion on Nuke. Inferno is the great decider here. We'll see who comes out on top. Na'Vi yet to pick up a pistol. You can see all the teams in attendance here in a beautiful rainy London as North will be showing up against AVANGAR later on.
These graphics have to be done ahead of time and implemented into the config. You can see Heroic's old logo still on there.
True.
The rebranding kind of right in the middle of things.
Yeah.
But we do get underway. Again, it is Heroic taking the knife, and therefore the CT side. 5 pistols perhaps for them after 5. They're 4-0 so far in these rounds. Na'Vi, pressure certainly on. They would certainly not want to lose the series, let alone a map in this event.
Yeah, that would be knock your confidence. Absolutely. So simple, though. He's confident as ever as he opens things up. Lame F towards CT spawn. Rattled by the P250, and that's why we purchased that weapon on the T side, especially superstars like Simple. He buys armor himself, and his in-game leader Zeus drops the upgraded pistol to give him that one-tap potential so he can go toe-to-toe with those USPs. Demonstrated perfectly there. They get a nice opening pick, and they can slow it right down and use power and numbers here, but still a lot of work to do with 3 CTs waiting at A.
Odds have been fluctuating a little bit throughout. Live betting odds currently on GG.Bet, 1.3 for Na'Vi. That's not surprising that they're the favorite against 3.0 on Heroic's side. There's update throughout the course of the match as well, as Nuke got much closer at halftime based on the score, based on Heroic being so far ahead. So Freiberg, there it is on A, the new look. He's inside of the pit. Edward already out toward the mid wall. That'll give them some potential to 2-2 split onto the A site. Full wrap from Simple. He's got the opening pick so far, and he'll play for the information. Smoke off library will isolate anyone. Mertz and Freiberg inside of the site allow Simple to cover rotation. So far, the crossfire works. Mertz and Freiberg each finding a kill.
Bomb down, Matt.
Yet another on Zeus, and you're right, bomb goes down on the balcony, which means they have to climb back up just to gather that. Simple, he would have loved to have stayed over toward library.
They fluffed it. They can't plant this, I don't think.
8 seconds. I'm not sure they can even get up to it. You're right. Simple's got to get the kill. Estag realizes now he is going to run away. He'll get away alive. Simple looking for the ace. It's the only way they win the round, and they get it. It's 5 pistols. That one sloppy. An ace from Simple, but inconsequential. Round is lost.
What an absolute nightmare. I didn't want to say. I didn't think it would be possible. I thought, okay, they'll recover this. Surely they'll get the bomb, especially if Estag PK. I don't think he was aware of the gravitas of the situation. He aces in the pistol, and they still can't get a break. break. This is unbelievable. And
look at Freiburg. He's laughing about
well,
it.
that just sets the tone for the game, doesn't it? Does it not? The fact that Simple gets an ace and it's still not enough? Like, that is just the whole team encapsulated almost, isn't
and you
it?
can see Simple's frustration because not only did he get the ace, he was the only one to kill the players in pit and graveyard, wrapping back through from the lurk position.
I can't believe it. I'm lost for words on that one. And now the force spike comes through as well. My goodness, it was unlucky. Freiburg just had to get that one kill, which he did. It was just the placement of the bomb. They assumed it dropped down towards the pit. It did not. It stayed on that balcony position. And you need 4 seconds for anyone who's maybe a new viewer here in the arena. You need 4 seconds to plant that bomb. If that 4 seconds expires, you can no longer win the round. You have to go for the kill. Estag, luckily, where the skin of his teeth got away towards
You can
Arch.
win it on kills only,
Yes.
you should say. Yeah, so obviously Estag identifying the fact that bomb was not being planted, just ran to stay alive at that point, which is the right call. Gives them the weapons and the money advantage for yet another time, for the 5th time after pistol rounds. Cillian flashed in. We'll take the UMP and a quick peek toward the top side of middle. No one has already pushed out toward mid wall. They'll get there now. But it means that no one was in position to swing back and counter off the position of a Cillian. Flame's going to rotate over early as well as Flamey and Zeus slowly but surely start to clear out toward the arch. That could catch them off because they'll think it's going to be open. Flash out just to ensure it. Flame shows himself, but a Stag's already pushed down Banana. That opens up the back side of the map. They've rotated through, though. They've opened up CT, so this is interesting. Despite not getting much map control, they get one facet of the map to rotate back over. And Stag's pushed down, which means he's got to retake from Banana. Thankfully, they've identified this and already taken care of Simple. Without guns and not a lot of utility, they're going to make a very, very difficult task of getting the bomb down. Thankfully, they get there before the repeat comes in, and the single smoke they had will cover off rotations through CT.
Well, 3 CTs actually give you position towards the Banana position here. Smoke for the coffins right there. That's thrown by a Cillian. They're trying to go with power and numbers here. They'll flash over and try and take advantage of the fact that the 4 versus 3. They have got to defuse the bomb, and Cillian will have to be the one to do it at this point. Only player with the kit. It's a Glock headshot. The Deagle coming in as well, but just Flamey remaining. They know exactly where he is. Should be a comfortable defuse here. Estag has the kit, and there we go. A little bit troublesome, but ultimately it will be 2-0 for Heroic. But the fact that only 2 players survive, and now Na'Vi around 4K per player, they're almost certainly going to be buying here, and a chance for them to get on the board. So not all is lost. A decent force buy there. They managed to get the bomb planted, a few kills as well. They'll definitely bring out the AKs now, and this is where maybe Peacemaker wants to get involved. This is a huge round for them. They might want to take a tactical time out here and just discuss their options and say, do we want to get aggressive? Do we want to get stuck in here? We know we've got a bit of a disadvantage with the weaponry as we get into it. No timeout. I am surprised at that, but you can see it's going to be 3 rifles, 2 SMGs, and will they go aggressive at Banana? Just 2 players there, maybe not.
Stag already pushing in as well. Double Molotov. Incendiary rather, but not quite thrown in the same fashion of Astralis' placement, and as a result of that, gap for Edward to stay at tree. More importantly, a gap that allowed him to jump up on top of the logs and find an angle they would not have expected to be open. So opening pick easily goes the way of Na'Vi as a result. Shows some of the small details Heroic haven't yet drilled out on this roster.
Yeah, they said they've played this map a little bit with mixed results. It's not something they're super comfortable on, but this start couldn't be better so far. But this round, they have got the disadvantage. They're actually putting all their eggs in that B bomb site. We'll see whether it works out for them, rotating everyone over. It's what we call a gamble stack. With the 1 minute remaining on the clock, they know they're hamstrung with the weapons itself. They'll put every player in towards B. If the bomb goes towards A, they'll give the round away and just let them have the A bomb site and save 4 weapons. But if they do somehow come towards the B bomb site, they'll be ready to challenge it. And with 50 seconds remaining, it's still unclear as Na'Vi is going for the default right now, trying to get a bit of information and maybe just showing a bit of a fake here towards A. As you can see, Matt, the bomb is positioned towards that Banana position. They could be walking into the Lion's Den here. With 30 seconds remaining, it's almost guaranteed at this point, and Heroic are ready and waiting on the other side.
Cillian. Good position, but couldn't do anything with it. Simple's going to overwhelm him. Follows it up on Mertz. He'll go down. It's Blame in the back of the site. A 3K and a gun round. We've seen a lot of pistol contribution from him, but not much more this time. Steps up in a passive position. They thought they cleared 2 kills on the way in. They were not expecting the 3rd.
That's the gamble stack as I build it up. If they do come towards that B bomb site, if you had made the correct call, then it looks tremendous. Great work by Blame F there at the back of the site with the Orc, spraying 3 of them down. That's why the weapon is so versatile. Those sort of positions with tight, narrow choke points where you can zoom in and really focus on the accuracy. It does a great job there, and you can see 3-0 coming in. Na'Vi going with the tactical purchase once again. The loss bonus racking up now. It'll be Simple with the AK-47 and Deagles around him. It is certainly enough to win a round, but that grenade does considerable damage there towards Edward. At least puts him in one-tap range of the M4. That's in the hands of Vincere and S-Tag, of course. But if Heroic can win this, they'll really establish themselves financially. But always dangerous when Simple has the AK-47. He's got 7 kills to his name after 3 rounds, and they haven't put anything on the board. So frustrating times for them.
Flamey already inside a boiler. We talked a little bit about this. If the CTs are going to be so much more aggressive with utility and taking Banana, then the Ts respond by getting some control over on the A side of the map instead. The window perhaps as a noise trigger, as a bait to try and pull the CTs. Still a decent setup. One facing the wall. The player on the left, the reason he's doing so is he's waiting for flashbangs to be thrown in, and therefore he can avoid them. But Blame going down, he's now going to draw his full attention toward the Ts. Great lineup, finds 2. But Simple, again, the one to find the kills in return. There's 2 guns down top of Banana, and a rotation required, of which is only arriving at CT now, which means long range, but Mertz has the AUG.
And they've got to be flashed. They've got some point of access here, and he can't hit the shots. This is looking possible now. 3-on-2, Freiburg rotating in. He's got to take down Simple. He's got a challenge here, but be taken down. Now it looks like he'll be favored towards Heroic, but not for long. Duking it out will be Edward towards the ruins here. As Cillian leaves Freiburg left in the 2 versus 1. Going to be focusing his efforts towards CT spawn here. Predicting the movement of Edward, but not quite enough. Surely traded out here. Nice round. It's all down to Simple and those 2 big frags in that tactical purchase.
I even say that his death is actually important in that, because if he sits and waits on Banana, that's fine, but they didn't have establishment inside of the site in the post plant, and they wanted the information. So he peeked early to tell them if Banana was going to be a problem and how to position. As soon as he does that, they knew exactly where Freiburg was.
You're right, and he could have even found maybe 2 players there and could have both Banana at that point, you know? So yes, information gathered and did a little bit of damage there as well. But Na'Vi finally on the board. Has been a real rough series for them so far. But 3-1, as we get into the next round, you can see how important that was. Heroic. Now with just the scouts here, they have force ball themselves. Inferno is a map that does lend itself to force buys, especially on the CT side. You have plenty of opportunities to use the smokes and run the clock down. They haven't really gone for that approach, though. They've gone for more of a firepower, brute force sort of setup here with Deagles, armor, couple of scouts, barely any utility as Mertz, who's got a very handy Deagle. Can't find the first shot, but he's going in for a second bite of the cherry, but it'll be Edward to take him down. And S-Tag gets a response with the scout there to take down Electronic.
Smoke down. To an Astralis round that they won, waiting with pistols on the inside of a smoke on Inferno. It's happened before. Teams get a little bit sloppy, get careless. Double scout's an interesting tactic for the defense to use, but Flamey already inside of the apartment hallway. Knows they're up close. Good timing on the flash. It's going to make some footprints as well as they scurry back, so information from that alone.
Now, this is Na'Vi looking a little bit troublesome here. I was about to say, that's a brave peek from Edward. They haven't dropped any smokes or utility here. They're going in 1 by 1. Freiburg's dishing out pain with a jumping scout shot. I'm not sure what Na'Vi are up to there. They've gone for the approach where they walk out of each choke point 1 by 1. No coordination, no execution. And
that's shocking.
That's just not the way you should be approaching those
Way
situations.
too sloppy, especially when they had a chance to win out the economy and break them down. Yeah, Simple's pissed about that.
I'm not sure what they're doing. Like that, you can't just walk into a bomb site against CZs with no smokes deployed, no flashes, no Molotovs 1 by 1. That's just not an approach.
Bit of luck in it as well for Freiburg.
Of course, that jumping shot contributed,
yeah,
but
pretty ridiculous.
He should be Molotov, at least smoked out, double naded. Every team is double nading that position right now to stop that being a thing. But Na'Vi going in with just the AKs out. I'm not sure why they would give it out that easily. But either way, this is why this tournament is important for them. They need to plug these holes before the major. And they will be going for the force fire and response as the spray comes in from Blame. Oh my goodness, the final bullet takes down Flamey as they'll get the advantage and presumably still hold position with that smoke, and S-Tag still towards the logs.
S-Tag going to back out now, and they still get away. Second smoke down. Yeah, you can see the odds already changing as a result of this start. 4-1. We started out at 3 and a bit, 3 and change odds. It's come down 1 point already for Heroic. It's gone up considerably for Na'Vi as well.
Absolutely. Oh, there's been so many disastrous rounds. The pistol with the ace, for example, from Simple, they still don't win. That round there, they had the advantage. They go in 1 by 1. They had like 6 grenades left. They didn't use any of them. I'm not sure what's going on here from the tactical point of view from Na'Vi, but this boost always delivers kills. Chuck it in once a half, you get a final kill with it. Cillian demonstrates that perfectly, as we'll see it go to a 5 versus 3 now. AK for Edward this time, and Mertz, oh, I thought he was going down. Luckily, the flashbang from the teammate will protect him. They don't need to challenge towards middle right now. Asilian will get the bomb, and presumably the round with the lineup. Great work by him as he gets 4 kills against the partial buy there from Na'Vi, but it's 5-1. As we go to round number 7, has to be the eco here.
And they're going to call a pause because they've got to get things together. This is not world number 2 Na'Vi. This is not a Na'Vi that's going to even make top 8 at a major currently. This is all over the place. Communication's not there. The timings are off. Zeus, 0 kills. He started with 5 on Overpass, I think, at the end of the game.
He was 2-18 on Nuke. He's 0-6 now.
2-18.
It's been a rough year for him. Yes, the team's had success, and you can say arguably he's the in-game leader, and he's contributing that way, but tactically they've looked off this series as well. So
And a major winner, keep in mind, the only major winner on Na'Vi did it with Gambit. After they removed him, it was an unlikely story, and then they fell apart. I mean, yeah, where does his career go?
Well, I think he already announced.
This is probably his last year playing.
I didn't want to quote it verbatim. I wasn't actually sure, but I think he said 2019 is his last year of play. He already won the major. That was his main objective in his career, get that done before he quits. I feel like this is probably, yes.
Presumably, though, that means you want to go out on your terms, right? You want to play out 2019. You want to get to the end of it. They've already hinted at changes in Na'Vi if things don't go well in the next 3 weeks in Katowice, so things certainly not starting great here. That would be a catastrophic way to end the career.
Yeah, you don't want to go out like that. But either way, they could be going out of this series if things continue as 5-1 down, pretty much full eco here. Yes, a couple of deagles, but no smokes, no flashbangs. They are vital on a map like Inferno just to get yourself positioned. Freiburg, he's looked pretty deadly, I have to say, so far, as he gets a nice spray down, make it 3 kills for him and a 4th. Very comfortable stuff. Asilian comes in, and they don't even lose any HP there, Matt. Very cheap round there for the CTs. They've got, what, 2 AKs now, and Org are looking very comfortable. We haven't even seen the AWP. They don't seem to rely on it on this particular map, at least not yet.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. From Freiburg over in a new position, seems very comfortable there. You're right about the double nade thing. That was pretty much designed to dispel Magisk in that position.
Every team's doing that right now. When you get them in control, you want to be smoking off the bomb site, you double nade that position, wait for the challenge, or you Molotov it, of course. Then you capitalize with the utility, especially if they've got CZs. You cannot just be challenging one by one and panicking. And a team with this much pedigree and experience, you would expect a lot better, but it has been a rough few months for them, I would say. Yes, some great tournament finishes and some trophies picked up along the way, but when they look off, they look very off. It's a different team almost, and day to day it can change. But today, this could all fall apart against Heroic, who they were expected just to stomp out of the tournament, but we'll see as they go for the buy here. AK-47's available. 4 of those, electronic on the Galil. They have 3 smokes and 1 HE. That is enough for a very, very basic approach towards the B-bomb site, or make your way towards middle and try and juke them out once again with the brute force. As Asilian, I think he's boosted in the same position. We said it's good for 1 frag every time, but presumably they'll flash it off at this point if they can even do that. They don't have any flashes available. Freiburg will be baited in. So Asilian will aim for 1 kill, knife out, and leave Freiburg in a spot where they'll run past him, hopefully hunting Asilian. They'll get a nice spray down. That's what they're designing right now, at least. And with 2 players towards Arch, this is actually quite tasty from Heroic.
Asilian waiting on the boost, takes the aggro, push out from Freiburg, and Mertz on the opposing side through the smoke is able to locate Zeus. Great crossfire, fantastic positioning. Asilian knows they've gotten out from the apartments. That's the one problem with his position, and Simple and Flamey are going to make good on that. Furthermore, they don't know how many are inside of the pit because Simple can rotate back. They haven't figured that out. They think both are still toward the A site. He's behind them, low HP. Easy kills. Oh, I say that. Simple, second time today he's missed. An exposed player wants to be efficient for headshots, but it's going to cost them the round. He had the bomb. He could have got out there and gone over toward B.
Well, there we have it. It will be a fantastic call here. I will say, I did chat to these guys quite a lot. We're waiting. It's Asilian who's calling now. They tried out. Estat was calling. Freiburg was calling for them. It seems like Asilian had the best sort of chemistry for this squad. It seems like his CT calls especially. I've really enjoyed the setups. We noted it on Nuke. Great adaptation there. He was mixing up aggressive plays towards outside, moving that AWP around. And now as well, these real gamble stacks they're making. They gamble stack B, 1 in the round. Gamble stack A there, 4 players, all facing middle. Not a crossfire towards a pit like you would expect. They were heads up towards that area, and you can see they had no chance. That Na'Vi weren't expecting it. Great setup, lovely play, Simple with the opportunity to shut it down. You were right, but overall it did fall apart there with the missed shot on the second player. If he gets that, it's a fighting chance of it happening, but ultimately now 7-1. And the fragging not looking too good. One player, Simple, 11 and 7. We have got Edward getting up there as well, but 3 players beneath 3 frags is not a great situation to be in when you're going into round number 9 now.
Yeah, more so for Electronic. Last year, that was one of the big storylines. Sure, he finished in the HLTV top 20 for the season, but wasn't often there enough with Simple to really push Na'Vi into that final gear. Bit of utility thrown in both directions. Banana and bottom side of mid. Nade stack, and they'll get Flamey for it. Good recovery from Zeus. CZ does catch them retreating. He was already pushed up beyond the flames, so a little bit closer than they were expecting. But really, is that a consolation, or is that going to be an opening? Because they don't have a lot of weapons to work with, and that one went down just beyond reach. Simple's going to get the AK. Smoke down CT. That'll isolate Asilian's position. Can be flashed back in. In fact, he wants to push directly through it, and that works well. Gets Edward. It's Simple, I think, snuck through as he got into ruins. He's got tree position, so he can actually cover off rotations, but there's still 2 in the site, and they have to solve that additional smoke to try and convince the CTs that A, Simple's not there, and it protects him from anyone in the back lines of the site. He'll smoke himself back in after finding Mertz, but fakes that and goes back toward ruins.
This could be an amazing play by Simple. He's trying to set his teammates up here. He's going to have to do all the heavy lifting with his AK-47. Unfortunately, does go down. 3 versus 2. Time is of the essence now. 30 seconds remaining, and they're heading back towards middle. At this point, there's going to be a rotation. You can see Freiburg. He's guaranteed at least 1 kill here, man. Absolutely so. That should be the round here, because Zeus, I don't think he's posted a frag. Oh, he has this round, so there we go. But he will go down in the end. 8-1, Heroic looking like they're confident on Inferno. They said it's a map they've had mixed results on, but so far it's been very impressive. Good mixture of approach and play, and we'll see whether Na'Vi are going to change things up themselves. Remember, when we were on the second map, Nuke, when they were running the defaults, they looked quite lost, a little bit apprehensive perhaps. When they just went with the pistols and when there's a 5-man unit, that's when rounds started to come through. Maybe we'll see a change of pace, stick together, go for a banana rush perhaps, get Simple up front, up close and personal. We'll see what he can do, but I can't keep pushing this narrative of maybe Simple will just go off at one point and we'll get around. We can't continue to that. It'll be the storyline of this team. We need him to kill everyone, and then we'll see what happens. That just can't be it now.
And if they make changes, I mean, where do they go? Dren's already moved on to phase.
No, there's talent in Ukraine and Russia. Don't you worry about that. There's plenty of firepower that we've yet to be unearthed, and know about the miners alone showed us how much potential there is there. But yes, you're right. In terms of experienced players, and come and bring in someone ready for this caliber.
Well, and an in-game leader. If Zeus is to depart, Angel's another one that's been on their radar for a while.
That's a good call. Great shout.
Mertz op already in position top mid. He gets to make sure that no one's crossed out from the the T stairs. Doesn't confirm what's going on toward alt mid, but it does allow them to at least throw nades down with confidence that someone may have pushed already into banana. Almost dropped inside of the small pit as well, the underpass position. Electronic, he's made his way up toward the tree position, but they won't contest. Too much smoke down, too much insecurities. In doing so, great boost. Timing is everything. They knew exactly where they had to clear, and Mertz does it perfectly.
Yeah, he makes the next one look like a bit of a car horse there. Straight up, knew exactly where he was, and Simple was being tagged as well. 8-1 down, 5 versus 4 in round number 10. And Freiburg, like I said, looking actually pretty efficient in this pit position. Very disciplined play here again, but he is quite isolated. You can see he's in the pit, his teammates on the bomb site here. They have to work in tandem to shut down this approach, but there's just that one smoke. Asilium, great for those opening kills. Well, not this time. Freiburg swings out of position, gets the one frag, but Blame F there still trading. 2 versus 2. Will the bomb get planted this time? It's still out of position, but recovered by Simple at this stage.
Bomb to go down for Na'Vi, desperate for around 8-1 for Heroic. They've won all the pistols and all of the gun rounds in this game as well, it seems. Simple, low HP, but he does cover off the rotation from mid. And if Blame goes all the way around the corner here, it means they're going to split their push on the retake. That makes it a little bit easy for Simple. No trade potential. Mertz coming back in. Does get Simple on return, though. Knew where to look on the AWP. Incendiary could be enough, because it's going to force him out, but he can't find the shot fast enough. Flamey 1 step ahead. Finally gets Na'Vi their second round.
That's a nice idea from Flamey. You can hear the Incendiary flying over. He knows he's in trouble. Swing before it lands, and then you have the advantage in that sense. You know exactly where we position. You have to nail the shot. Obviously, a lot Easier to say than do, but he did do it, and it will be the second round there. Not the cleanest, but they'll take it. There still is enough money for a full buy here on the Heroic side, of course, so that's not going to be an issue. They have brought Natus Orb into gameplay now, and you'll see that come out once again. He is going to be whittled down to not glass cannon, but no helmet, no diffuse kit. If they lose this round, they are on an eco, as he went banana before this time. Looking towards second middle, assisted by that incendiary. Didn't quite hit the shot, but gets a bit of information there towards the apartments. Asilian uses it for one kill, but that's not going to be enough to shut down Edward, as he actually pushes towards the end of the apps here.
Freiburg with a nade as well. Could have landed that pretty much on top of him. It would have put him down to red HP, but clipped the door frame, had to back away himself. Good trade from Edward. Mertz wants to play that pixel gap toward Boiler. Heard an audible noise down mid and fired through the smoke instead. They'll continue his retreat. They'll play more passively on the CT side. Concede mid-wall, which does allow for some execution, potentially on the Na'Vi side. We haven't seen a lot of convincing execution as of yet, and Blame, with the smoke down, actually wants to get aggressive on this. Not playing inside of the cubby, but as close as he dare to see if they're setting for stacks to set for flashbangs. Doesn't spot anyone and backs away. Mertz gets away with one. That's through the edge of the wall as well. Flamey gave himself up with the shin.
Well, there we go. It's Edward using the smoke to isolate that arch position. Like we said, blame it for no nades either. That's why Mertz is playing quite a heads-up game right now. Missed a couple of shots, but hit a couple as well. It's still the advantage towards Heroic with 35 seconds remaining. This has been the problem. The final sectors of these rounds where Na'Vi seeming to struggle. One by one we go again. No real execution is looking for kills. As Electronic will try and flush out of position, but it's too late. They've called for the rotations. They know exactly what's going on. And Mertz with a great round there. 2 kills to his name. And with the lack of utility, that's why he was playing more up close, trying to get those picks and apply the pressure and segregate the terrorists. It's a great reset. As you can see, the money on the screen right now, bare minimum. This might be a force buy regardless, because he will get 1900 next round. Might just have to take the full investment, and Zeus has pretty much made that call for them.
6 kills between 3 players after this many rounds is just unacceptable. 11 rounds played.
Against, no disrespect to Heroic, this is their first LAN, and you're Na'Vi, the second best team in the world, right? This is unacceptable.
And they're making it a little bit easier than it should be, but Heroic, full credit given. I mean, Blame, you can see him. They identify the holes, or at least where the potential gaps are after getting the opening picks.
Yeah.
Backs off to CT, doesn't allow them to rotate through. Mertz is playing excellent on the AWP. And Freiburg, big shout to him.
Yes.
Staple in this position at Banana for years, arguably someone who coined the meta on that side of the map. Either Freiburg being aggressive or Krim's playing passive, take your pick. Now he's over on A, and he was top fragging. I didn't catch if he still is, but having a fantastic game.
Well, this is the full investment, remember. Lose this round, you're 10-2 down, and another eco comes through. The loss bonus is low. So is morale, I'd imagine, at this point. This has been such a disastrous game. So many rounds that have been thrown away. We hit the 1 minute mark. S-Tag is going to be joined by Blame F. He's been tagged up. There is a chance here. If S-Tag misses the shots here, there could be an opening. Simple's got the AK, but the smoke, not quite what he's looking for. That needed to be a little bit deeper, but he was pressured, but buys a little bit of time. They might rotate a CT over. Simple knows he has to do the heavy lifting here. Spots the boosted player, gets the opening once again. That's what they were looking for here. S-Tag has been smoked off. Can't really justify much more than a spam through the smoke to try and deny the plant. He's going for it. Will it land? It's a little bit too high. Zeus gets the bomb down, and now they have 2 rifles on the T side.
Tank does get Simple back in the end, but bomb down gives them a chance to play off this. Edward as the only gun. The M4. Pistols will have to pick them apart at close range. Edward's going to play the late position to swing out on the bomb in dark. Flash out, though. That reveals he's there. He needs teammates. He needs support from the Pistols. They're going for a boost. They're smoked off. He's got to win this on a straight-up duel, and he won't be able to do it. Another defuse. It is close, but they've got it. They're actually quite a bit ahead of that with 10-2. And a reset against Na'Vi. It's looking like Nuke all over again, and this is not quite the same CT-sided map that you'd expect.
Definitely not. It's not the Na'Vi I would expect. Unfortunately, this is looking pretty dire for them. But shout out to Heroic. Like, we need to make sure we try and look at the goods and the bads here. This is a team in their first event and the first showing of Blame F on this sort of stage, to be honest. And Peacemaker as well, trying to make a comeback, find a lineup that suits him. I've loved these CT setups. I've loved their adaptation. It's looked very good. And this is another partial buy from Na'Vi, really just trying to make anything happen here. Deagles, armor, any smokes they can. Tactically just looking off the mark right now. They don't seem to have a clear objective in their defaults. It seems scrappy every time. They're surprised by the boosts and getting caught out of position more often than not. We'll see what happens here. This looks to be a straight-up B execution here. They've got a smoke for coffins, one for CD Sport. No Molotov, I believe. You can see the odds changing now from GG.Bet. Heroic now actually the favorites here. I don't think anyone would be expecting that going into this best of 3. The odds could change this severely.
Insane, actually, to have Heroic as the favorite against the second highest rated team in the world with the highest rated individual player in the world. Especially right before a major. You'd think that they'd be in peak form. Long break to lead into this as well over the holidays. Maybe they took a little too much time off. I was defending that decision, but maybe the results speak for themselves. Perhaps it was better that they had to put a little more time into it. Time will tell as we move forward in this event and into the next 3 weeks of play. S-Tag, he'll fall back. Does find an angle at Orange 2. Still looking to find out if they're going to wrap around him onto Ruins. He's got the AK, but he's overwhelmed. Simple drops down directly in front, and the CZ up close is an equal match to the AK as he had to reset his aim. Freiburg through the smoke still finds Flamey and brings this back to a 3-on-3, but an AK and an AWP picked up lane. He's already worked in from Ruins. No smoke down, but he doesn't spot anyone.
They have got the incendiary, though. Where's this going? Towards the back right, I assume. That's a lovely little grenade to be thrown in there. Flushes Simple out of position and takes him down as well. Sometimes letting the grenade is certainly worth the time, as now it's a 3 versus 2. They've taken down the raid boss of Simple, and it's going to be Edward who has to back away. That's all down to that incendiary, by the way. That flushes Simple out, makes things incredibly uncomfortable for him, and it's going to be bomb defused, and around it looked like Na'Vi had finally got something positive going.
That's a sick incendiary. Look for that to be something that we'd see more and more from teams. Very clever. Pushed him out. And on top of that, keep in mind that Electronic didn't hit the shots again. He's sitting with 1 kill. He had a huge opportunity with an M4 to try and take down a player, or excuse me, an AK player at CT. Missed those and then gets absolutely wiped out of the round.
6 kills between 3 players. This is the incendiary. And I was about to say, players that normally play in environments like FPL, an example, they're used to making plays by themselves and relying on their own in-game knowledge to make plays like that and buy themselves space instead of working with teammates. You can see that's so fantastic. The fact that goes in such an uncomfortable position. Simple there with an AWP, he's going to win that round, right? He's going to hit all the shots. You flush him out, you hit a couple of body shots on him, he's going down. All of a sudden, you've won yet another clutch situation there on the retake. And it's all down to that 1 grenade, which I think I've seen before, but I haven't seen it as effective.
Yeah, the lineup on that doesn't look terrible either. Obviously, it goes off the skybox. Bit of a narrow gap to get through the box on the roof, but that's something that's easily repeatable for teams. Anyone who's seen that.
Great work. Well, Mertz is going for the second mid pick. He'll focus on the bridge for now, but then, oh dear, Edward, you've just got absolutely spanked out of the server there. He was even ready for that peek as well. He could feel it coming, and then the AWP obviously takes him down. Very confident, and that's what I'm talking about with Mertz. He's a young man with lack of experience, and he still hits the shots. As I'm talking about that, there's just frags absolutely everywhere. Matt, I hate to keep pointing it out, but again, they're going one by one through smokes, and
the structure's gone. The communication's fallen off on Navi's side, and you can see it. Zeus, in-game leader, sitting in the middle, just looks absolutely defeated at this point. This is what we talked about with this team. It is their crux. Every time they run into an opposition or a situation where they shouldn't be losing rounds, they manage to. Mertz, AWP, sneaks all the way around behind them. They're just, they're sitting around doing nothing at this point.
Yeah, they're being made to look foolish at this stage. The fact that they just have no response for this whatsoever. Sure, Mertz is a flashy, great AWPer, but he's not afraid of anything at this point. Running around the map, he's got full control. He's dictating the pace on the defending side. The CTs here. Na'Vi have got a lot of holes to plug here, and Nuke looked poor. Inferno even worse. It begs the question, what have they been up to in this time off as we get into the final round of the first half, 12-2 down against an unlikely opposition. These group of players are fantastically skilled, Heroic, but it's their first LAN. They're probably not even ranked within the top 15 right now. I'm not even sure of their position, but Na'Vi, you'd think 2-0, no problem whatsoever, but it's looking likely they crash out here in the first round of the tournament. They won't be out of the tournament, just to be clear. You need 2 losses, but that's
correct. Double elimination
maybe
bracket.
A wake-up call is required here.
Oh, that goes without saying at this point. Pushing through smokes. Simple's not even hitting the shots that, to be fair, he shouldn't be. Pushing through a smoke at the top mid against 2 players, but you've come to expect from him almost. And now he's left with a deagle based on the poor purchasing decisions throughout the half at 12-2. Best case, they find a third, but this is still going to be... And keep in mind, they've yet to win a pistol. 0-5. They lose another one now. Heroic, T-side, Inferno. This could be done. This could be the series gone.
You're absolutely correct there. Not looking too good for Na'Vi is what we're saying right now, if that's what you can gather from all that. But either way, it's the final round as they have Galils, and once again, the bomb goes around by itself. There's no flash, there's nothing to really speak of tactically. And now, at this point, they've got 30 seconds and have to make their way towards B. But guaranteed kill for Restad. They just got them in the palm of their hand right now and crushing them.
Nothing like showing off the new logo and the rebrand by beating Na'Vi in a convincing fashion. Good start.
Wow.
And the new jerseys and the new look and the new team. And there it is, the 13th round on the CT side of a map that there's no excuse for Na'Vi. This isn't a map they don't play.
This was a staple for them,
absolutely.
even in 2018. Like the beginning of that year, we were saying, I remember at the beginning of Pro League, we were saying, this is Na'Vi's best map. They're going to blow everyone out of the water on an Inferno. Doesn't look like that right now, I have to say.
Well, we'll swap it over. They need a pistol. That goes without saying. They need to make sure they're absolutely perfect on their defense because Heroic, with basically a shooting gallery this whole half. This round sums it up. There's scouts and no one even peeks the left side of middle. S-Tag just walked out time and time again. This was an incredible shot from Freiburg. Bit of luck on his side with the RNG of jumping, but still, things were going their way and they made the do on it. They made their best of it. Line up again for Asilian in this round. It was over and over. Even the trades. Anything, the exchanges, when they found an opening, they were one step ahead on rotations. It was perfect from Heroic.
Just that one round alone when we saw the scouts going to town. Sure, great shots coming in, but what the hell was going on with the setup? You saw there was utility there. They had the smokes, they had the flashes. They panic and go one by one, not even communicating, it seems, at that point. The scout was just peeking arch over and over again. But as you said, Na'Vi need this. Good start by Edward. Amazing start from Zeus. Finally, they're coming to life here as Na'Vi get the clean sweep. In the pistol round, barely dropped any HP. They throw caution to the wind and get themselves stuck in towards B. 3 players, unlikely candidates to find those sort of frags. It's Zeus and Edward getting it done.
And that might be Zeus back into it mentally. That might be him pulling back in. You can see him sitting up. He looks more invigorated, simple, waiting for more from his teammates. Again, the odds have changed so significantly throughout this series. Heroic now the favorite, which at the start of this entire series, let alone the map, that was not the case. They were nowhere near that position, and it's 7.8 for Na'Vi. That is ridiculous odds.
If you're feeling lucky right now, Na'Vi, they have the power to bring this one back. That's all I'm saying. It could happen. It's crazy odds at this point.
The fickle nature of the CS crowd, though,
yeah,
right?
That's true.
Abandon them.
Yeah.
They're out. All the money goes the other way.
All of a sudden, yeah, they're back. We can do it. Well, this is the thing. Heroic now are just waiting for mistakes. You can see they're trying to bleed out any sort of utility they can at this point. It might be a very boring approach. You might not see much is going on, but it actually is a bit of method behind this. If you can bait out smoke grenades, incendiaries, flashbangs, HEs, just that little bit of cash, if you can squeak it out of them, at that point, you'll go into the next round of AKs. You have potentially less to deal with. That might be a diffuse kit missing. That might be a helmet not being purchased up in the next round if you can find something there. So we'll see what happens going forward, but it's just another way of getting a bit of a tactical timeout as well. You can discuss your options going forward. A little bit frustrating play again. Some players might get a little bit impatient and push forward past their positions here. We'll see what happens. Edward looking to farm cash here. Nice incendiary dropped. That $600 gone though. That's exactly what Heroic are trying to do at this stage.
Edward waiting. MP5, Simple and he go to work. 2 each. Edward finds the third. Straightforward round. Not much the pistols could do. You said it. Heroic pretty much being optimistic, sitting back, waiting to see if anything would push into them. Just to note, Electronic 1 and 15. Need him to arrive. Might have a chance to do so as the economies continues to be in their favor. No bomb plant this time for Heroic, nor in the first round. So despite the 1 round additional bonus that is now applied in CS, it's not like they're going to have a huge bank to work with. But certainly, as they were more passive than Na'Vi, they'll get AKs out and a decent amount of utility. Smokes on everyone. Flashes to work with, so execution potential's there, but not if they get taken down before they find map control, as Simple easily finds Mertz.
Well, here we go then. Oh, it looks like we're off to a flying start here for Na'Vi. Couldn't have gone any worse from their T side, but confident beginning here for them on the first gun round. We'll see the orb shot from Simple connecting cleanly. Nice grenades towards the bottom of Banana. A lot of work to be done. Minimal room for error here, as the favorites do have the advantage here in round number 18. It's a 5-on-3. Smokes remaining though. At this point, Heroic know they probably can't win the round, but they can get a bomb down and cause some damage. That would be enough. Flashbang goes in, but same story for Flamey. He'll have a nice little lineup here. Can he find the shot? That's all he has to do, trying to stay alive at this point. Will be taken down. As we mentioned, the bomb is planted. At least that's something for Heroic to build upon.
Bomb planted again, as you say, though. That does give them a chance. They're going to wrap it back to Ruins. They'll play this together and try and get the trade potential at the very least.
That's not bad.
In their favor, you're right. That's going to buy some time. They can't afford to push through that. They'd have to double push it, and if they lose 2, they might just lose the round. So it's the lesser of 2 evils to go toward the CT connector instead. Simple finds the shot to Asilian, and that should isolate S-Tech. They know where he is. Finds one. Looks for a second. They nearly lost out on that spray, but they'll find it. Simple's got the kit. He'll get on the defuse with just enough time.
Get a few more bullets there, gets that second kill. I think he done it. But unfortunately for Heroic, it will fall apart. But there it is. They get the bomb down. That was enough just to say, okay, not the end of the world. There's the classic Counter-Strike logo for you. Many years I spent looking at that screen back in the day, map. Oh, different times.
Different times indeed. The old CRT monitors.
Yeah.
They died hard, didn't they? There was a lot of gamers that were stuck to CRT.
I was still using it up until 2012. I want to say maybe 2011. I still had one in the house, but you could get 200 hertz then when the LCDs couldn't handle it. So, well, a bit of trivia there for you. Not sure if you're interested in it, but if you are, let us know. We'll bring back old monitor history for you as Flamey sprays down for full eco. It's just a banana rush as we'll see him pick up a few kills there. Na'Vi at least getting on their feet financially at this point as he'll just hold position. You can see them just going for the straight up rush here. Nothing really to write home about. No bomb planted, but it means they'll keep the AKs on the CT side, at least AK. 3 orgs there and Simple's AWP. Looks like we might have a few more twists and turns here as we get into the next round here, presumably a gun round here for Heroic. Taking the wind out of themselves somewhat, Na'Vi have, as the org comes out for Mertz in round number 20 here.
Smoke deep from Simple. They'll follow that with Flames. Counter smoke does suggest that they want to contest, and they will, but smart read. Secondary nade toward the tree. Blame's been caught by that twice now. He needs to be somewhat careful of that position. It certainly sets a tone and a tempo, similar to what we say with Astralis when they're playing on this map. Just by winning that out with utility, you start to put the doubt, the hesitation, and the positioning at risk for Heroic in this case, for the T side. And they've got to back off toward A, where certainly Electronic is waiting and ready, finally getting some kills to his name and his credit, as Asilian still waits by the cart. Flames down, does give him right of passage, but Flash will take him out of the equation because Simple's able to get the pick and position backside when they retreat. It's now 7 for Na'Vi. You said it. Of any team, they could pull this back, and look at the odds. They're pulled back too. They've cut in half, back down to 4.4 for Na'Vi.
Well, this is Heroic just going for those haymaker sort of rounds. They're just trying to group up, 5-man approach, just surprise them with pace, unsettle them perhaps, to just try and present something that's not expected. Asilian's now the in-game leader for this squad, trying to just throw things at them, see what works. You've got a lot of rounds to experiment with here, of course. The fact they win 13-2 in the first half, you have got buffer room here, but as the pressure mounts and you feel Simple really coming online and his teammates start to join him, like we said, this is the first LAN for this lineup. It's a long we haven't seen Heroic on a LAN in general for a long time, to be honest.
And how many times have we seen an underdog team, new lineup oftentimes in this occasion as well, but they get so close to winning it and they get the heartbreak, and it's tough for them to recover from. If they win this, they're going to be on the highest of highs with, again, their first LAN with this 5. If they lose it, it's going to be harder for them to recover from because mentally they're just not used to it. They're in a new situation, and they're going to really be lamenting the loss so early on in the event as well. So it's possible that Na'Vi can do this.
Absolutely possible.
And you're going to rely not only on those timeouts to really compose yourself while you've got the better rounds, but guys like Freiberg to really keep them in this as well.
I suspect this is another bit of a Hail Mary approach here. 4 towards second middle, that with such conviction at the start of the round, I'd say something special is coming here in terms of execution, perhaps. Yes, here we go. Straight up towards middle. This is not a default. They're trying to just rush them. They're going through Flames, though, taking a lot of damage. I think this is going to cost them the round again. They're trying to do everything they can just to surprise Na'Vi, but they're resilient at this point. They're starting to wake up. They're finding frags. Electronic from the pits, using the org in a great fashion there. It's going to be a 5 versus 1. And I guess the approach was there. Well, they weren't expected twice. Let's get up there again, and rushing towards the quad side through the Flames didn't really work out for them whatsoever.
A 700% increase in kills from Electronic over the last 2 rounds.
Right. Yep, indeed.
6 in the last 2.
Well, you can see the temperament as well of Na'Vi looking a lot different. Now they've got a few more rounds on the board. They've got some money, bit of breathing room, essentially. They're looking a bit happier in general. This is actually a great start from them. The other players going to line you, like you said, Electronic, rough start, but now 7 on the board. It is going to be the partial buy, as Heroic will get the loss bonus racking up at this point. Tech9, CZ, and a Deagle there. And Simple, this is when he gets a little bit scarier. When he starts getting comfortable, the fact he can just run down Banana by himself with the orb.
Yeah.
This is when you know he is not messing around anymore.
Yeah, who does this, right? He will get away as well. No one's going to repeat that. Pressure applied to Boiler and Alt Mid. In fact, Aztag getting on the kitchen balcony to spot the window and allow his teammate to jump up. Freiburg takes control of the hallway. Tech9, don't see it as much anymore.
You really don't. But it's still a viable weapon. I think it's like another unearthed gem until someone starts doing great things with it. We'll see it come back into relevancy a bit more. But it's still viable. It's just difficult to justify it over to CZ still.
Yeah, the shift in meta in pistols has been an interesting one in CS. There's been an era for so many different options. In that situation, Electronic wise to the fact that the smokes were coming down. They were trying to isolate him. He'll slip away. It does reveal the pit's open. Makes it a bit awkward for Crossfire potential, and Blame hitting the shot on Electronic actually opens that up to an even greater potential for Heroic. Flamey thankfully finds one, but overwhelmed. Merc steps out. It's all onto Edward. He stands tall, but goes down to 15 HP. Needs to rely on Zeus jumping back through the smoke at Library. Does exactly that, and he'll close out on a Cillian. Good recovery, and Na'Vi find their 9.
There we go, Na'Vi. A little bit scary at that point, but shout out to Electronic. That's the play that really made the difference there. Because if he gets himself out of the pit, he knows what play they're going for there. It's the full pit execution, focusing on that one player, isolating him with their pistols at close range. That's very viable. He can read that. He gets out of the pit, because if he goes down, not only does he give them the 5-on-4, he gives them the rifle as well. If you can move out of that situation, even if he goes down at that point, if he dies in Graveyard, the rifle's not accessible to them. So that was a nice little nuance there, just to note, as they go into a double orb setup here. Flamey and Simple. As Ed will take a little bit of damage there at the very start. Heroic yet to really do much at all here in the second half, as Electronic finds the first frag, really getting into their swing of things here, it seems. Freiburg will be the player to be dropped. He did do considerable damage towards Electronic, and S-Tag has at least border room control, but everyone knows he's there.
Again, fickle nature. Trends to determine everything. We're back to Na'Vi being the favorite with 7 rounds in a row.
That's all it took.
Potentially an 8th. 2-man advantage. Electronic again with a kill. Edward chimes in with one of his own. Electronic finding a home and position in the pit that seemingly is comfortable for him. Flamey on the op. Don't see this as commonly. He will hold it true. Takes down a Cillian on Banana. Second angle. Falls back behind the barrels. Counter flash will force him off of it, but that's exactly when they deter by putting out one of their own. Not a smoke, not an incendiary, not trying to delay the push, but rather just keep the angles in their favor. Flamey again has to back off it, but he wants to stay close enough to bait Zeus in. Waiting by the bags, all he wants is aggro pulled away, and exactly that. They get the attention drawn toward the site. That's when Zeus steps out, and then Simple, through the wall, actually finds Blame to close it off. Teamwork's getting there again for Na'Vi.
It really is. They look much better on the CT side than they did on the T side. I'll give them that much. There's actually some coordination here. It's actually looking like their fraggers are turning up. They're not looking as lost as they did on the T side. I really couldn't describe what the issue was there, but it looks like we might have an issue here on the Heroic side, as discussing with the admins as to what the issue is here. Might be a sound issue. Mertz is currently tabbed out of the game, as you can see. So Matthew, we will refrain from giving any information away at this point.
Sure.
Before you open that beautiful mouth of yours, we're going to make sure that we don't give any information about the cash or anything like that. We are right by the players in this octagon. As we'll see the scoreboard here, it's 23 kills for Simple, just to note, as they get back into it. This is pretty tremendous. 8-0 on their second half.
8-0 indeed. You have to wonder as well in a push like that, when you've thrown 3 separate flashes and the op is refusing to give up, why? Because oftentimes in that situation, he's going to fall back to potentially coffins, maybe CT connector if he feels there's not enough utility to make him or render him useless in that situation, if there's not a smoke to put down. You almost can kind of sense the bait, perhaps.
Sure.
But Heroic just blindly walk toward it.
Well, at this stage, this is where tension starts to mount. This is where the in-game lead is feeling most of the pressure. He feels like, well, if we give this game away, this will be such a catastrophic throw. We are 13-2 up on the CT side. It looks so good for us. We had everything going in our favor. We won all the pistols today. And now, at the final hurdle, if they gave this game up, it'd be crushing to team morale. But still some way to go there. here in London, share your pics of our Octagon by using the hashtag GG.Bet. Share your lovely pictures. Maybe a selfie with Sadakist. Maybe that could be a hashtag.
I look a little different now.
Freshly sheared.
Had to get rid of that blonde hair. The forfeit was over, all right?
Sure.
November was long gone.
Well, I think you look beautiful whatever happens, Matt.
Thank you, Henry.
Hair or
I
not,
appreciate it.
It's all good. Freiberg has kept true to his hairstyle throughout the years. Hasn't changed that. It's iconic at this point. At the end, you can see them discussing their options here, what's the play. It's a real mental block sometimes. It can be very difficult. You start getting that mindset, I don't want to be the player that dies first. I don't want to be the one that's blamed if a round goes horribly wrong because Simple picked us. You get a bit cagey, you're apprehensive. You're better to fall back in the full executions at this point. As they take a partial buy here, obviously maximum loss bonus coming into effect. Could have bought up, actually, but they want to make sure they have absolutely everything. Maybe get a Mertz or Pal next round, as that grenade does absolute boatload of damage. And there won't be the follow-up incendiary, but Zeus did get the HE kill.
Yeah, Simple hit his teammate with that one. Fluffed the lines a little bit, as you would say.
Indeed.
Either way, they get to the top side of Banana, and this time forced to be more passive. Na'Vi step back inside of the site. Edward's already going to find one, however, and SMG pistol combination not yielding a frag as of yet. They might have had position, but they know the situation weapon-wise. Na'Vi wise to it, fall back, and find at least one crossfire. Cillian gets one back, but Zeus steps back out. No guns carried over for the heroic side. They can't get away with anything. And yet another round to bring us to the threshold we often talk about, into double digits, and the comeback certainly looking likely even at this point.
You have to say so, with not a single round posted in the second half. Yes, absolutely. And the odds we read out at the beginning of this half, man, that's what it's kind of suggests. It's like you never know with this team. They can turn it on and off like a tap. As round 25 comes in, we're going to see double AWP setup and 3 orgs. That's the state of affairs of CSGO these days. An exciting time. As we'll see Simple going for the first pick. Didn't feel quite safe enough there, decides to fall back.
Falls back, but gets up inside of Boiler S-Tag. They've got the counter boost as well on top of the awning. In fact, Edward's going to slide over, play on top of this windowsill. We talk about this and the power that it has. Not a common position to peek with your crosshair already on. Good for one and then a drop, and they're going to set it up slightly differently. Rather than baiting someone in from underneath of the atrium, they actually counter the play by looking back toward the apartments. So it's a 3-man stack in that position. They want them to basically be lured into a commitment. Single hold on Banana from Flamey. Passive as well. Incendiary buys a little bit more time. Covers off the only angle which they can actually peek directly to that windowsill. Simple. Waiting. In fact, Nade's going to go. No counter peek. It's going to do damage to 3. That softens them up just enough to make sure that the Augs would have short work on their opposition. Simple finds one on Mertz. Goes back out for a second. Looking for the third. Couldn't quite. As Freiberg found that instead, Electronics easily able to trade again. This positioning so strong. They're all in tandem working to peek and play off of each other on trades. At the very least, it barely goes that far as they slide out from the arch and close it out with 4 players still alive.
If you are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3rd map of our first game of the day. Na'Vi, the absolute favorites going into this tournament, started off strong on Overpass. It all fell apart on Nuke, and it looked like they were done in the first half of this map. They were 13-2 down. They moved over to the CT side. We thought there was no chance of them resurrecting themselves, but they're about to tie things up 13-13. The odds were stacked against them in more ways than one. As we get into another pistol round here from Heroic. Sometimes these are the ones that can bring you back to life, though. A quick burst with the Tech 9s and CZs. It can all topple the defense very quickly, but we'll see what they've got in store for us. They try to make things very fast at the beginning of this half. They're trying to steal rounds away with 5-man pushes towards quad. And yes, that's an interesting idea, but you are throwing rounds away. They did that 2 or 3 times, and all of a sudden, Na'Vi have come online and looking to answer back quickly. We'll see what they can do here, as now execution towards A. Full execution I'm expecting. Smokes towards the pit, the library, flash over. We need the Molotov in the pit as well. We'll see if it all comes together, but Simple, he's in position, and this time he's got the AUG, and you feel like he's going to cause some damage with it.
Freiberg and a Cillian. They're going to try and use that smoke, although it covers off their entrance, to actually jump down and not be spotted as easily against Simple. And waits for the flashes. Electronic still inside pit. It's going to get away again. So trying to play the same position. Gets back far enough. The angle doesn't present itself from the crack in the wall. Simple actually did some damage onto him because I think he thought it was going to be an opponent pushing through, but still manages to make amends and find one at least toward the balcony position as Edward finds himself high and on the box. Drops the bomb just down to Mertz and Freiberg. This could be a tie game after being a very one-sided opening half at 13-2. Heroic yet to find one on the attack. Edward closes it. Na'Vi at least making short work of this half. I'm still concerned with some of the problems they've had in this series. It's not overly convincing, but they might get away with it.
They might get away with it indeed. It's all been reset now. Any advantages Heroic had have fully gone. And you can see something's not quite right on the Heroic side. We're going to be changing headsets, mixing things up. So again, we will have to refrain from giving much info away, but hopefully we'll be back underway momentarily. This is one for the ages. The fact you see 13-2 comebacks, that doesn't happen too often successfully. We always see it get right to the finish line and it seems to fall apart. If Na'Vi can do it, I'll be impressed, but you're absolutely right. There's still cause for concern. Their T side, it wasn't the fact Heroic were just playing really well. They really looked off the mark there. They didn't seem ready for the level of play Heroic were presenting, but all will be forgiven if they can win the map. That's all they have to do is win the single best of 3 today to be up in that upper bracket. That'll be happening tomorrow. The next game, or next matchup, I should say, will be against North and AVANGAR. And I'm not really sure which way that will go. After seeing the minors, I'm not that impressed with what North are presenting right now. I'm sure they'll be working hard to bring themselves back into a favorable position, but AVANGAR are always a deadly team. They can always cause upsets, and I'm sure that will be another series we'll see go all the way, just like this one, as we have got things all tied up. Like we said, a slight technical issue for Mertz. It looks like it's been sorted at this point. There in the octagon, I can assure you they're right opposite each other, like an old school LAN. This one is right there. You can stand up and scream and shout if you're that way inclined. Haven't seen it yet, but maybe as the day develops, and maybe we get Cadian in there, we'll see a bit of that. He likes to have a bit of banter.
That's a good point, Cadian. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're being very well behaved at this point. That is something that hasn't been around in a while, so perhaps it's almost a forgotten skill.
Indeed.
If you want to call it that.
Sure.
Trend. Around 27 of 30, potentially more. Doesn't look likely if Heroic can't pull up their socks, but back onto the guns this time. Mertz on the AWP CT side, or excuse me, T side, going against a CT side that has 4 AUGs and an op of its own. So we are seeing a shift more and more since last year when the price change of that weapon was brought in by Valve. Took some getting used to, I think, for many players. Freiberg already checking with utility toward the hallway at the apartments. Wants to anchor that position, it seems, because everyone else heading back over toward B, toward Flamey. Playing on the only op, but Mertz, yes, will get traded out, get taken down, and Mertz is able to find one on the op.
This is the most promising situation they've had this entire half, and that's a 4-on-4. That really is saying something. 50 seconds remain. It's going to be a simple B execution. Remember, this team has not had a lot of experience. Their first land together. They're not going to have boatloads of strategies here, but it looks decent. Good flashes. Take Simple out of the equation, at least for now. Zeus under pressure. Molotov will actually push him out of position. Mertz will follow it up, and it looks like we'll get the first round on the board here. That guarantees an S-tag, making sure he gets the killing blow in there. An Electronic 4 versus 1 at this point is financial damage. They've got so much money here. Any kills he can find will be valuable, but nothing there. Not a huge celebration at this point from Heroic, but a sigh of relief perhaps that they maintain the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. Maintain the lead, 2 to go. Just inch it out at this point in time. Great Molotov as well towards Zeus. You touched on it. He was left alone. They forced Simple back with a single smoke. He had to retreat. Couldn't find the pick through it on entry. And then the Molotov pushes Zeus out. Mertz knew that that was happening, knew that the Molotov was going down, and put the op in a perfect angle that all he had to do was really click mouse 1 as soon as he arrived.
And there we have it. 4 AUGs again. And the AWP. Plenty of cash here on the CT side. Grenade not landing, as takes only a little bit of damage in the flames. It's still worth the attempt.
Was it Swag, I think, that threw that Molotov, or the smoke rather, that extinguishes that Molotov and allows the peak still? Possibly. The counter Molotov that basically, you could see it there, was placed at the stairwell and boiler to disallow the peak.
I see what you mean,
but you can throw it on the ledge outside of boiler, and the smoke through the wall will actually extinguish that.
That's pretty cool.
I think it was Swag that showed us that and was on the front page of Reddit not too long ago.
Well then, it was the B-bomb side where Heroic found their first round of this half, looking for series points here. What a difference a round makes. As we get into a situation where Flamey is essentially alone. He has got a player in CD Spawn who can back him up with flashbangs. If he misses a shot, he'll go down here. Nails it, but the trade will come through almost certainly. BlameF will get it. And now another similar situation to previous round, but it's Zeus this time, once more, who will be alone on the bomb site. He needs multiple frags here. The rotation comes over. They're actually going to fall back, grab the bomb. It's a little bit telegraphed in my opinion. I don't think he made a much convincing case to actually keep players there, but we'll see what happens here. Edward, heads up counter strike from him as 30-second comes through. Good flashbang to buy a little bit of time for Electronic.
Carry his position on the balcony now. Needs to be efficient, and he's managed to get away. Nearly got 2-4. 1 HP for Freiburg only, but the kill that counts puts them now a man up. Big advantage. Rotation required. Defense thinned out considerably. And BlameF's going to take down Zeus. This could put them on map and series point. It's all down to Simple. 46 HP, plays on the AUG. He's going to go aggressive, flashes to counter him off. That'll slow his approach. He does have a kit. Cuts the defusal time down from 10 seconds to 5, meaning he's got that extra 5 seconds to try and sort the kills, to sort the positions, but they're so spread out. 180 degrees. Counter peak should, I would have expected to come out. S-Tag's actually giving himself up. He's got the his shin out. This is 1 HP. Freiburg, he sits close pit. Simple's got to go to the pistol, and he runs out of time with 1 HP. He clutches it back. Simple nearly got away with that.
He absolutely did. Oh my goodness. Nail-biting stuff here. Right down to the wire, but it will be Heroic to post series point first, and this will be the most gutting way for it to finish for Na'Vi. If you sure the first half you thought it was over, 13-2, you're not expecting much, but the fact you bring it back to a 13-13 game, and that's when it comes crashing down, those are the most difficult ones to let sweep by. It's going to be a difficult situation for them now. Tactical pause. What's the play? I didn't quite catch the money, but I can't imagine it's in a great position. They've been spending that cash the last 2 rounds. Those AUGs coming out, all the utility, double AWPs, and we'll see what's available to them. But now need 2 rounds just to get us in towards overtime here in the 3rd and final map. Heroic coming to life just in the nick of time, I have to say. The fact that it goes 13-13 after a 13-2 half is a scary prospect, but now they have series point, pressure released, at least they have overtime in the bag.
And I don't know what mentality you take for Na'Vi if you lose this, because it's heartbreaking to have a comeback that goes slightly shy. At the same time, maybe you can be positive that you even pulled it back, because they looked incredibly lost in this map.
They did indeed. Well, the money's still there for them. Plenty of cash. AWPs for Simple and Flamey. So that's not going to be the issue here. So still a fighting chance they could take it to overtime. Actually, a strong chance, I would say, considering what we've seen so far. Remember, that's the first 2 rounds Heroic have posted in this half. Whether they can keep that up is yet to be seen. It's really been off the picks Mertz has got. They'll lose the first pick, and then trade will come in from Mertz, and they managed to execute towards B. That's been their real focus. Previous round went for the fake of it, came down to a 1 HP one-on-one between Freiburg and Simple. As Flamey gets that B control, he's got the smoke down there towards T steps. You can see Heroic almost gifting them that. They know this means that utility has been expended on this side of the map now. So Zeus gets himself in position. He has got the AUG, and he's been baited in by Flamey here. Again, Flamey, if he gets flashed off position, that's going to be Zeus isolated towards logs. He can be Molotov here. There's the flash. Will they Molotov logs? Will they have the awareness that a player could be there? There is a Molotov down, but it doesn't seem like it will be flushing Zeus out just yet.
Off angle, still waiting for Flamey. He wants commitment. The more commitment to his position, the closer they are to Zeus, but too close. Flamey unable to do anything. In fact, missing the shot as well. They had to get a response on that. And it might be Heroic stealing the map away, despite the lead. I say stealing because of how many rounds went away from them to start off this T side. They've got it. You're right. This looks over. Electronic and Simple, a very dynamic duo, but not a lot of ground to work with. Simple has to get up close on an AWP. Smoke already down. He'll have no information inside of the site. Bomb ticking as well. Both with kits. He's going to go to the Deagle. He's got no other choice. We've seen him do crazy things up close with an off, but he knows he needs to respond and turn quickly to find his second kill. It's not so much about the first, and Freiburg's able to one-up that position. Electronic's not even in this. Way down bottom of Banana. They know exactly where he is. 3 players to position. Heroic's going to steal this series. A 2-1 scoreline after losing on overpass. BlameF, the new guy to close it out. Incredible stuff. Rebranding and new roster. It's working out brilliantly to start off this tournament.
Unbelievable scenes there, Matt. What a roller coaster of a game. We thought Heroic had it in the bag. Yes, they're the overall winners, but certainly cost them a bit of energy there towards the end. It was a nail-biting game. We saw Na'Vi bring themselves back to life in the second half. but at 13-13, they dropped the ball, and somehow Heroic have come out victors here in the first round here in London. This was supposed to be the tournament where Na'Vi cruise through. They take every map and they get themselves warmed up for the major. Right now, this is just a troublesome sign. This actually might be alarm bells going off at this stage.
Well, and you have to question the mentality of that, because they've already hinted at changes, and you're struggling this much going into the most important event of the year, coming up starting next week almost in Katowice. It is worrying times. If you're a Na'Vi fan, certainly you've got to be asking questions, but Heroic, great start, fantastic. That's exactly what you want for this organization that wants to put the best foot forward. They're rebranding for a reason. They've made roster changes for a reason. They want to make 2019 their year and certainly hit an upward trajectory that is unquestionable. But yeah, Na'Vi, that is shocking stuff. To go down 0-1, double elimination, they're not done yet. Can still pull back into this. AVANGAR and North coming up next, but Stun, I think, is standing by.
Matt, I am indeed standing by with Mr. Freiberg himself. You got some ears on you, man. Just your teammates trolling you. Look, that was a nail biter all the way to the end. You guys brought it all the way back, and this new roster's looking pretty solid. Talk to me about the new team.
I mean, honestly, we've had some struggles figuring out the roles in the team, but we had a boot camp in Copenhagen where we managed to figure out a lot, and I think at this point we're still like, we're not sure about our map pool. Like one prac we can play really well, the other we can play bad, so we're still figuring stuff out, but I think, I mean, we have potential for sure, and we showed that here.
Well, you definitely showed up in a big way because according to GG.Bet, I mean, the odds were definitely not in your favor going into this one. Na'Vi, the big dogs in the block, talk to me about playing them today.
I mean, Na'Vi is obviously always a hard team to play. You never know what Na'Vi that will show up. They have incredibly strong players in electronic and simple, but they can also have some bad days. But today, I think we were just a better team. I think we wanted the win more, and I think it showed. We were a bit shaky, last map there, T side, but I think we managed to pull it back and play well in the end there.
And exactly what I'm going to end off with, because in that last map, they ran it the full distance, man. It was looking like we were headed to overtime. What was really the deciding factor there? I know BlameF had a really big impact here in his showing with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was more the composure. We took a timeout. We said, okay, let's not go away from what we're usually doing, like the defaults and everything. And I think that was the key. When it was like 13-13, we just said, we need to have banana control. We need to have mid control. And I think that was the key.
Well, the keys to the bracket are in your hand. I'm going to let you go, Mr. Freiberg. Cheers. And on that note, I'm going to invite all of you at home to get involved on social media using @GG.Bet official over on Twitter. And you know what? You probably will. Nope, you just might see your tweet right there live on the stream. We've got another matchup coming your way, another opening best of 3. It's going to be North and AVANGAR squaring off over the course of 3 maps. But first, we're going to be going to a break.